and Gabby Williams were slow to get up after a collision underneath the basket. Here's what happened.
Oh, that is a major collision for the two of them. They both knock heads. It took them both some time to get to their feet.
What happens when the Indiana Fever are forced to play without Caitlin Clark, the rookie who has completely transformed the franchise's identity, filled arenas, and brought millions of new fans into the WNBA? Most people would expect disaster. They'd expect the Fever to crumble under the pressure, lose their spark, and be exposed without their superstar. But instead, something shocking happened. Against one of the league's toughest opponents, the Seattle Storm, the Indiana Fever delivered a jaw-dropping performance, and leading the charge was none other than Lexie Hull, a player often overlooked, underestimated, and sometimes even doubted by her own fan base.
Woo! First home game, got a dub, let's get it.
Big dub. Let's go.
Fever dub, bow. Woo, dubs. It's giving sweet.
But on this night, Hull didn't just show up. She exploded. And as the Fever dominated the Storm, without Caitlin Clark, Hull sent a clear message. This team is more than just one star. This team has depth, grit, and players ready to step up when the lights are brightest. So today, we're diving into everything you need to know about this shocking upset, from the way Hull took over the game to how the Fever adjusted their entire strategy without Clark, to what this means for the rest of the WNBA season. Because make no mistake, this wasn't just a win. This was a statement. The build-up and context, 450 words. Let's set the stage. Heading into the matchup. Against the Seattle Storm, all eyes were on one glaring storyline. Caitlin Clark was out. Whether it was rest, an injury precaution, or simply a coaching decision, the fact remained. The Fever's offensive engine and floor general wasn't suiting up. For most franchises, losing your superstar would be a nightmare scenario. For the Fever, who have struggled with depth in the past, it looked like a potential disaster. Seattle wasn't just another opponent. They're a team loaded with weapons. From Jewel Lloyd, who has been playing MVP-level basketball, to Nneka Ogwumike, who provides veteran leadership and inside dominance, the Storm had all the pieces to expose Indiana. The pre-game chatter was brutal. Analysts predicted a blowout. Social media buzzed with comments like, "Without Clark, the Fever have no chance," or "Seattle's about to run them off the floor." But behind the scenes, something was brewing. Players like Lexie Hull, Kelsey Mitchell, and Aaliyah Boston had been waiting for their moment. Too often overshadowed by Clark's spotlight, they were eager to prove that the Fever are more than a one-woman show. And from the very first whistle, the tone was set. The Fever came out with energy, defensive intensity, and a clear game plan. Control the tempo, protect the paint, and make every possession count. But the real difference maker? Lexie Hull. Lexie Hull is no stranger to doubt. Drafted in the first round out of Stanford, she's been labeled everything from a role player to a defensive specialist. Rarely has she been seen as someone who can completely take over a game. But against Seattle, she shattered that narrative. Hull came out aggressive from the opening tip. Instead of deferring or playing cautiously, she attacked the basket, pulled up for confident jumpers, and stretched the floor with her three-point shooting. By halftime, she had already poured in double-digit points. But it wasn't just the scoring. Hull was everywhere on defense, chasing Lloyd off screens, forcing turnovers, and making hustle plays that swung momentum in Indiana's favor. And when Seattle tried to mount a comeback in the third quarter, Hull responded with clutch shot after clutch shot, silencing the crowd and firing up her teammates. Her stat line told the story: a career-high scoring night, multiple steals, and near-perfect efficiency from beyond the arc. But beyond the numbers, it was her attitude that stood out. Hull played with fire, with swagger, with the kind of energy that said, "We don't need to be doubted just because Caitlin isn't here. We can win this game, and I'm going to make sure of it." It was a performance that reminded fans of why she was a first-round pick in the first place. And it raised a bigger question. Is Lexie Hull ready to become a true star in her own right? How the Fever won without Clark. Now let's break down how exactly the Fever pulled this off without Caitlin Clark. First, the offense. Without Clark orchestrating every possession, the ball movement became more democratic. Instead of relying on one player to create, Indiana spread the floor and emphasized teamwork. Kelsey Mitchell stepped into the primary playmaking role, setting up teammates and keeping the offense flowing. Aaliyah Boston became more of a focal point in the post, demanding double teams and freeing shooters like Hull. Second, the defense. The Fever locked in defensively in a way we haven't always seen this season. Hull's perimeter defense was critical, but so was Boston's rim protection. Seattle struggled to find clean looks, and every possession felt contested. Third, the intangibles. Hustle, effort, energy. Players like Nalissa Smith and Christy Wallace made plays that don't always show up on the stat sheet, diving for loose balls, boxing out bigger opponents, and keeping possessions alive. By the fourth quarter, it wasn't just about surviving without Clark, it was about sending a message. The Fever can win in multiple ways, and that's exactly what they did, dominating the Storm in every category that mattered. Fan and media reaction, 500 words. When the final buzzer sounded, social media erupted. Fever fans flooded timelines with pride. Tweets like, "Lexie Hull cooked tonight," and "This team is deeper than people think," went viral. Even Clark herself, watching from the sidelines, was visibly fired up, cheering every big shot. Meanwhile, the national media was stunned. Headlines the next morning read things like, "Fever shocked the Storm without Clark," "Lexie Hull steps into the spotlight," "Indiana proves they're more than a one-woman show." The win also sparked an interesting debate. Is Caitlin Clark's absence actually helping the Fever discover their true depth? Some analysts argued that nights like this build confidence in role players, which will only make the team stronger when Clark returns. Others suggested it might expose some tension. Will players like Hull demand bigger roles now? Regardless of the angle, one thing was clear. This win had the entire WNBA world talking. So what does this mean moving forward? For the Fever, it's a confidence boost of the highest order. Knowing they can beat a powerhouse team like Seattle without Clark proves they have the depth and resilience needed for a playoff push. For Lexie Hull, it could be a career-defining moment. Performances like this can shift a player's trajectory from role player to reliable star. And for the WNBA as a whole, it's a reminder of how unpredictable this league can be. The narrative has been dominated by Clark, and rightfully so, given her impact. But games like this highlight the other incredible talent spread across rosters. Most importantly, it sets up the Fever as a team that's dangerous no matter what. With Clark, they're a high-octane offensive juggernaut. Without her, they're a gritty, balanced squad that can grind out wins. And in the playoffs, versatility like that is priceless. So there you have it, the Indiana Fever, led by a fearless Lexie Hull, shocking the Seattle Storm without Caitlin Clark. A performance that wasn't just about one win, but about proving that this team has more depth, more fight, and more star power than anyone gave them credit for. But what do you think? Was this just a one-night breakout for Lexie Hull, or the beginning of her stepping into a bigger role for the Fever? And how do you think this game will impact Caitlin Clark's return and the team's chemistry moving forward? Let me know in the comments below. I want to hear your take. And as always, don't forget to like this video, subscribe for more WNBA coverage, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single update. Because if this game taught us anything, it's that the Fever are full of surprises.